Hey everybody, this is Retro Challenge Gamer, and another post commentary for World 5 of my Super World and Super Mario Maker 2, and we are now in the sky, which I felt was a natural evolution from being underground in World 4. And yeah, this overall layout of this world just changed actually quite a bit. Like 4 or 5 times I scrapped it and redid it several times after I started making the levels and figuring out what went where. And in fact, 5.1 actually was 5.3 originally before I swapped the two levels, and it became 5.1. So a little bit of interesting trivia behind the scenes that I swapped the two levels. And this is the first appearance of Yoshi. Almost. Oh, I lost him already. But for those who have found secret areas earlier in the Super World, you actually would have found Yoshi sooner. This is actually the first obvious and in-your-face appearance of Yoshi. So this one, you can't miss him. Unlike in previous levels, there's actually one of him in World 1-2. That's his first appearance, but he's off in a side area, a hidden area with inside of a hidden block. So Yoshi's actually appeared several times before this. Now, getting this to actually work as a side-scroller, I couldn't use the fast platforms, which was my original intention. The fast platforms with the wings and everything. And I couldn't exactly use the slow platforms either, which is what I ended up with. Because the side-scrolling, either slow, medium, fast, it didn't matter which scrolling speed you picked. It was always off speed from the platforms that you use here, which only have 2 speeds. One with wings, one without, so slow and fast. They just don't mesh up. For whatever reason, whoever designed the speeds of the platforms, the moving platforms, did not sync them up to at least 1 or 2 of the speeds of the side-scrolling elements. And so this was literally the best I could do with doing a side-scroller with moving platforms. I had to do slow speed with slow platforms, and even then, the speed of the side-scrolling ended up being faster than the actual platforms. So, word of advice, pro tip, wait a little bit longer than necessary before jumping on to the next platform, just so the platform can catch up with the screen. I didn't know any other way how to work this level. If anybody knows a better way of designing something like this, please tell me, because I tried. But yeah, we make the infamous return of Lakitu in several locations in this level. But the advent of Yoshi actually makes a lot of the trials in this level trivial. And he's just not making it. So I don't use Yoshi as often as I wanted in the Super World. In fact, this was actually the first time I put him in a level, was when I first made 5.1. But then I realized how cool and awesome he was as a power-up, so to speak. So I actually went back to, like, you know, World 1-2 and a couple other worlds between, you know, the beginning of the Super World and 5.1, and added in extra secret Yoshis in bonus areas and things like that. Because I just felt like he was underutilized, and I wanted to use him more, even if it was in hidden secret blocks. So for those who know where he is, you can definitely use him to obliterate certain levels out of their difficulty, because he does make a lot of things easy. So we move on from Yoshi's Sky Safari, and we go to, if it loads, Pipeline Crossroads. The basic general idea of this level was just a short level made up of a bunch of pipes. That was all I had in mind when I made this level. That was it. Now, the end results didn't exactly end up being what I had in my mind. However, it did combine 2 different elements from previous Mario games in terms of theme. One was a bridge theme. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of bridges with enemies and flying cheeps and things like that, reminiscent of the old Super Mario Brothers bridge levels right before a castle. And then, of course, here comes the pipes and all the piranha plants that come with them. And mixing up a couple gizmos like the swinging claws and the bumpers and things like that. Just it's at this point where I start mixing and matching existing gimmicks and things like that. There's still a few that I haven't introduced yet, and I will in World 6 onward. I'm kind of holding those back for later. But I really had fun making these sky levels. There was just something about them. It was just so easy. I think I made World 5.1, 5.2, and I think most of 5.3 like all in one day. And 5.4 and 5.5 literally the next day. It took like 2 days to make an entire world. I don't know, just something about these sky levels inspired me. And I was just making levels like a madman. So, I don't know if that shows in the quality of the levels or not. I think the quality is still up there compared to the last 4 worlds, but I think it was nice. I still think that this is actually one of my favorite worlds, World 5. So, Boom Boom's Flagship. The idea of this was to be underneath this big, large, I guess, actually no, the original idea of this level was to fly in a Koopa Copter and dodge all these enemies, flying enemies and cannons coming at you from the right, and catch up to an airship. And then you go into a pipe, and then you're supposed to side-scroll back to the left, chasing down the airship you just found, before, going into another pipe, and now you're on top of the airship, and now you're heading back, side-scrolling to the right. Until I found out that the game engine, Super Mario Maker 2, does not allow side-scrolling to go left. It's only to the right. It just made no sense to me that you didn't have that functionality to be able to choose which direction the scrolling should happen. So because of that inability to have left side scrolling, this new idea was formed, where you already found the airship, Boom Boom's airship, and you're kind of trailing underneath it until you get to a part where you can actually board the aircraft, and then you head left through the aircraft, get to a pipe to get on top, and now you're on top of the aircraft that you have been flying under since the beginning. Does any of that make sense? Point being, my original idea was still realized, just in a different way. So, regardless, this is a very, very large airship. And I had a lot of fun designing that singular section where you had to dodge all the cannons and things like that. So through ingenuity, I still managed to get my core idea still realized. So now you're actually a little bit back in the level from the first part, but now you're on the top side. And I kind of revisit this idea, this whole level structure, again in World 7.5 with Ludwig's War, I think War Dreadnought or something like that. And I actually go a little bit more in depth in a couple areas that I don't here. And I actually think that's actually the stronger of the two airship levels, which stem from the core concept I just explained. But yeah, this is actually a fairly easy level despite being how long it is. And as intimidating as this boss fight is, it's actually an easy Boom Boom boss fight, and that's because of the two side platforms that you can hang out on. And that's it, that's all there is to it. And I still got hit on the way out. Yeah, and since I used up most of the space from the first half of the level, there wasn't really much left to do except for one screen, goalpost, you're done. Sometimes you run out of space. You don't have any more to work with in the engine. Now, I believe this is the only world where after you beat a level, you have access to two toad houses. Every other world, I think, is there's a toad house in between every level, but this is the only one where you have access to two, so you have two chances of getting 5 1-ups. Yeah, this is thrilling entertainment here. I think I get a 5-star on this one, or 5 1-ups. I could be wrong, though. Ooh, I was close to missing that one. Ah, yes. Let me guess, I'm gonna get a single 1-up. Yep, that's pretty much what you get every single time. For no particular reason whatsoever. Now this next level was originally going to be the first level in the world, World 5-1, but I swapped it because I just felt like I should introduce Yoshi sooner, because I felt like I was going to use him a second time later in the world, in World 5-4. I was going to use him twice. It didn't exactly end up working out like that. In fact, what replaced Yoshi in this level, as you'll find out, is Squirrel Mario. And this, I think, was the second full time I've actually used the power-up. And I knew a lot more how to work the power-up now, so my design for Squirrel Mario is a lot better in this level compared to, what was it, 3-4. So I give you a small little hint of a faster snake block. We were introduced to them in the Reflections of Darkness, I think it's World 4-3 snake blocks, but now you're introduced to the faster blue version of them. Okay, so this is where, and I did it horribly actually. You're actually supposed to run and jump from the upper portion of the platform. That's okay. And then of course that question block up there has another Squirrel Mario in case you happen to lose it to a Monty mole. I ended up wanting to have you jump a lot of wall jumps using Squirrel Mario, because I felt that was the strength of this particular power-up. And of course I wanted to do a small little curving coin thing, because I thought that was a neat feature of the power-up, was the gliding feature. So why not capitalize on it at least once every Squirrel Mario level I make? So I think I got the inspiration for this from actually watching a YouTube video of another Super Mario Maker level where it's like, what is it called? Reach the top. It's like a type of level design where you have to reach the top, and there's many things that could knock you back down to the beginning and stuff. I don't know what the term for that type of level is, but the inspiration, the core concept kind of came from there. And so my goal here was to make a level where it was completely vertical with a variety of opportunities for you to lose your path and fall all the way back down. And yeah, this section took a lot of testing, that was close, to make sure that, oh no, yeah, to make sure that I could do these gymnastics properly. And as you can see, I was terrible. In fact, I have to go almost all the way down. All the way down. Wasting a lot of time. But there's a little shortcut there I just showed you if you want to speedrun it. So, I mean, I guess you could float down between the spikes and then hang on to the left wall and then slide down until you're ready to boost up into this section over here. It just was really hard to test that. Because although I knew how to work Squirrel Mario better by this level, I still wasn't perfect. So I was still learning how to use the power-up as I was designing this level. At least I knew more now than I did in World 3-4. Yeah, you see all sorts of secrets off to the right and left, everything that I'm not getting. Like this 50 coin, one of the very few in this game, or in this Super World. I'm choosing not to get it, but I'll show you in perfect runs.
Oh yeah, Mario time!
So yeah, despite all the difficulty of me playing through that and testing it and clear checking it, that actually is one of my favorite levels in World 5. And so now we get to the proverbial castle in the sky, which I think is Roy or Martin Jr. I can't remember. It's one of the two. They're side by side in Worlds. Roy's Sinking Fortress. So up to this point, I've yet to introduce the danger of rising lava. And so all the lava in most of these castle stages have been pretty stagnant. So now this is the first time where we have rising and lowering lava. And so we bring back the flops back in addition to dealing with this new threat. And then of course I add back the fast snake blocks. So all these gimmicks and stuff from previous levels in World 5, we're bringing them back. Including enemies too. And if you want to, that question block has 10 coins in it if you're feeling daring. So this is the first instance of rising lava. Now, despite what I said in World 5 one, the rising lava actually matches, whoever programmed the speed, actually matches the speed of the screen scrolling. That can be matched up with the screen scrolling, the rising lava. But for some reason, moving platforms cannot. It makes it hard to design those types of stages with auto-scrolling. Yeah, setting up that pink coin was very difficult. Trying to make sure I could actually get up there and not kill myself in the process. So doing a clear check of this and trying to get all 3 pink coins, not the funnest thing. So I wanted to bring back the Koopa car in a unique way, and I was just like, how can I possibly make this interesting? Because this isn't an airship. This isn't where I can just have cannonballs and flame, burners and stuff as obstacles. So I figured not just the rising lava and the potobos, but also thwomps, and those ended up being the perfect obstacle for you in the Koopa car because you have no defense. And if they somehow kick you out of your perch and they take occupancy in the clown car, you're pretty much finished. So don't have them do that. So I felt it was an interesting little twist on the gimmick of having the clown car. And that second checkpoint was actually added after the fact, realizing how hard it was, this level, after playing through the whole Super World all at once, in one go. And Roy is actually somewhat difficult if you're not prepared for the 2 pipes up above that keep dropping Mecha Koopas. You gotta keep your eye on that, and make sure that you're not caught off guard by the Mecha Koopas. Because whenever he kills one, depending on which pipe it came out of, the next one's ready to go to drop out. So you have multiple things to pay attention to here. And on the whole, I think it made him a pretty darn fun boss battle. And then here I hesitate. By hesitating, I pretty much got myself hurt. And just about died on this run because I hesitated in getting that 30 coin. But this is one of the coins that you cannot get on a perfect run because you have to go through the boss room to get it and you can't go back. Speaking of which, that pipe there, you can actually take that pipe, you can't get to the room that happened that you could only get to otherwise through 3 pink coins. So that was an oversight on my part. Not that would probably do you much good, though, because you should have already been beating the boss by then, so what's the point, right? Alright, so despite that small little goof on my part, we are now moving on to World 6, which, in my opinion, with my level of skill in playing and stuff like that, I feel the game now turns up the heat and is now actively trying to kill you. World 6 is where it starts getting way more difficult, at least in my opinion. And hopefully you'll be able to see that starting with the first level in the next video. So thank you all for watching, and I mean, where else could we go from the sky except up to space? So it made sense to me. Until the next time, see you all later, and stay retro.